Ultrakill is better than Doom Eternal. Now, why do I think that? I'll explain in detail on what Ultrakill does better than Doom Eternal based on my experience. This is not a review, it's not a retrospective. This is purely opinion based. Now, when I say Ultrakill is better than Doom Eternal, that's not me saying that Doom Eternal is a bad game. Doom Eternal is a great game, and honestly a very revolutionary first-person shooter. It has a lot of great moments, it's really fun doing weapon combos, and it's a great experience overall. I just think Ultrakill did it better. Now where do I start? I'm a really big fan of Ultrakill's music. It seems like the music in each level fits perfectly into the setting, and it also spices up the game due to the context of what exactly happens in each level. For example, in 1-2, you'll be once again greeted with some heavenly music, but once you get to the part where the game introduces you to the street cleaners, the music becomes very ominous, and then when the game tests you to fight off even more street cleaners and different enemies, the music gets really intense, and it was actually pretty bone-chilling considering what the music sounds like. The soundtrack in Ultrakill overall is a banger. My favorite has to be Minos Prime's theme. It's a really long song and it goes hard. It's right above the theme for Cybergrind. The setting in each level is pretty good as well, and each level feels unique. You start off with Hell, then you go to Heaven, then you go to whatever the hell this is, and then you go inside a boss's body, then you go to basically Egypt, I guess. The Wrath level also looks really interesting. I think the Lust layer has one of my favorite level designs on it. I'm not saying that because I'm horny, by the way. I'm saying that because the levels actually look interesting. There's also some good details you might have missed in all these levels, like how you can see King Minos in the distance. Very neat. I will say that Doom Eternal does a much better job at getting you invested in the world due to how many things you can spot around several different levels, like Exultia, where you see a giant mech stab a giant demon. That's a very cool background. Character and enemy design is also very good in Ultrakill. All of these enemies look vastly different from each other, so they are easily recognizable, and they all pose as a dangerous threat. Even the weakest enemy in the game can actually fuck you over if you're not being careful. Imagine these guys on Ultrakill Must Die difficulty. Ugh. In the Cybergrind, there's a few enemies that will constantly pop up and potentially screw you over when trying to break your record. Swords Machines, Cerberus, and Mind Flayers. For some reason, it's always one of these three enemies that kill me in a Cybergrind run, especially Mind Flayers. Occasionally, however, in the Cybergrind, you'll run into one of these. Insurrectionists are a serious challenge when it comes to Cybergrind, and it's important that you know how to kill them quickly. Overall, I love the enemy design in Ultrakill. Doom Eternal's enemy design is great too, however, I will say that I'm not the biggest fan of enemies such as Stone Imps and Turrets. Stone Imps are literally just reskins of the actual Imps, and Turrets are just there, I guess. Maybe if the Stone Imp had its own look instead of just its regular skin being turned into stone, I'd give it some slack, but yeah. I know that Ultrakill also has a reskin of the Swords Machine in a secret boss fight, but the reason why it works is because this boss fight is literally a reference to DMC3 where you fight Agni and Rudra, so that's why I can make an excuse for it. Since I talked about enemy difficulty, I may as well get to the best part about this game, the gameplay and its mechanics. Ultrakill has some of the most batshit insane mechanics I've ever seen in a first-person shooter, and I'd argue that it has more depth than Doom Eternal does. And the crazy part about this is that Ultrakill is only in early access. In Doom Eternal, you have plenty of mechanics you can pull off. You thrive in Doom Eternal by performing weapon combos and constantly managing your resources. This can range from doing super shotgun and ballista combos, using different weapon mods, using the microwave beam to track how much health is left on the target before using the full auto to finish them off. You can also use the ballista to boost your movement. There's quite a few mechanics you can pull off in Doom Eternal to spice up the game, and on top of that, you can destroy enemy weak points, and knowing the enemy's weaknesses will make you save up on ammo. Whiplashes are weak to rocket launchers. You can instantly kill a Cacodemon with the ballista's Arbalest. You can freeze a Pinky and shoot at its tail to kill it faster. You can use the microwave beam to kill shield soldiers. You can one-shot a Bloodmaker with a precision bolt. Doom Eternal has a lot of depth. However, Ultrakill goes beyond this. Ultrakill's game mechanics are pretty much like anything you can do, I can do better. The game is only in early access and people are already learning the most batshit insane mechanics you can pull off in Ultrakill. It all started with mechanics such as projectile boosts, shotgun swapping, ricochets, parries, and ultra ricochets. The funniest thing about these mechanics is that those are very basic. There are enemy weaknesses, combined weapon skills, tossing a coin behind a street cleaner's back to insta-kill it, killing off a hideous mass as fast as possible, a bunch of options to annihilate a bunch of filth, instantly killing a mind flayer, parrying King Minos' punches, ultra counter ricochets, the timing of ricochets, the nuke, the ultra rail coin, the one coin juggle, oh that's been nerfed, the ultra boost, reflecting the malicious face's beam attack with a coin, and so much more. Ultrakill is all style, all substance. It's faster than Doom. It's got more variety based on mechanics and tech. It's more vertical than Quake. And the style meter is the cherry on top for everything that you do in the game. Whether you crush an enemy with a malicious face, shoot a coin with the rail cannon, parry, projectile boost, or kill an enemy by shooting its projectile before it makes an attack, the game rewards you for it by telling you how stylish you're being and by giving you more points, which, yeah, that's pretty easy to get. Devil May Cry is a game where the more different combos you pull off, the higher your style meter goes. It's a game that incentivizes you to pull off different techniques, and based on how good you play the game, you are judged by an endgame rank. Ultrakill has the exact same thing. But the cherry on top about Ultrakill's endgame ranks is that if you keep playing the game, and get the highest rank on every single level in the Infinite Hyperdeath chapter, the game unlocks a secret boss battle that you can go to. This is where you fight the Flesh Prison and Minos Prime, the craziest boss fight in the game by far, and apparently there's going to be 2 more of these fights. I cannot imagine how crazy these battles will get. The endgame ranks is one of the main reasons why this game thrives off of replay value. It encourages you to play better every time you play it. It's great for people that want a challenge, it's great for speedrunners, and overall, it's a great addition to the game. But that's not the only thing that gives the game so much replay value. The Cyber Grind is an infinite horde mode where you are challenged to go the highest wave you can. This mode truly puts you to the test and makes you use all the abilities you've learned. I like it when game modes are infinite rather than set a specific wave. It's one reason why I played Killing Floor 2 back then. Killing Floor 2 did not have an endless mode at launch. You would always play matches with a specific set of rounds, but then they added the endless mode, which really got my attention. I think more games that are similar to that of Ultrakill, Dusk, or Killing Floor 2 should have an endless mode, because it's a mode that puts you to the test of how long can you survive. If I'm being completely honest, I think Doom Eternal's Horde mode is a disappointment. I had a lot of fun with the Horde mode at first, but what killed that mode for me is how they changed its structure. Rather than being put to the test on how long you can survive, you're forced to do certain objectives in the game in a mode that lasts for only 3 stages. I will say that the bonus rounds, the high value targets, and the challenges that the Horde mode gives you in its main areas are pretty cool. And I think that the Horde mode does have a decent incentive to play your best, as well as giving you bonuses depending on what you've done in your playtime, like if you don't use the BFG. But the objectives, the limited amount of rounds, and how limited the score system is what kills the Horde mode for me. I think if Doom Eternal's Horde mode added in some new features such as an endless variant of the mode, getting bonus points for consecutive kills and bonus points for finishing a level as quickly as possible, as well as give us different stages for each playthrough and maybe some Horde mode exclusive enemies, I think the Horde mode could be so much better. Now for my last reason of why I prefer Ultrakill over Doom Eternal. In Doom 2016, there was a mode called Snap Map. Snap Map was a basic level editor that allowed you to create custom games, custom levels, and a bunch of other cool shit. Snap Map was my most played mode in Doom 2016, but it had a lot of missed potential. They never added in specific enemies and bosses, they never added in specific weapons and weapon mods in both the campaign and multiplayer. It overall had a lot of promise that was never truly realized. This is why I played a lot of Proteus. The level editor in Proteus is more complex and gives you more freedom, although to be fair, this is probably because of the different engines that these games use. What does this have to do with Ultrakill? Well, did you know that Ultrakill is also getting a level editor? When this was revealed, they showed off how you can make levels randomly generated, and someone remade an entire Doom level in Ultrakill. It looks really promising so far. It's also been confirmed by Hakita that the level editor will let you use custom files in the level editor, such as models, sound effects, music, and textures, and they're also looking into letting you make custom scripts. The amount of features that will be seen in Ultrakill's level editor sounds very promising. It should be known that when it comes to games having level editors or any mode that lets you do whatever you want, I gush over them and play them a shit ton. And the fact that Doom Eternal scrapped Snap Map entirely makes me cry inside. And that's why I think Ultrakill is better than Doom Eternal. I think overall, because it combines DMC with Quake and executes it perfectly, it's one of the best games I've ever played, and I cannot wait for it to get out of early access. Again, just because I said it's better than Doom Eternal, that's not me saying that Doom Eternal is a bad game. There are a few things that Doom Eternal does better than Ultrakill, but overall, I just prefer this over the other. What do you guys think of my hot take? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below, and also thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe because I need clout.
Someone saying that Doom Eternal's AI is on the level of Ultrakill's immediately disqualifies themselves from any further conversation about video game design. I hope that's enough for you. I can't take it anymore.